Does your ideal serve look like this? Not a lucky shot, but a reproducible result that makes you super confident in your service game. Now, most players think that the great serve is about power or an angle, but look at the trajectory. This is not a gamble, it's a high margin solution. When you step up to the line, you shouldn't be hoping the ball goes in. You should be initiating the rally with the same confidence you have when hitting a routine ground strokes. In Rue's Tennis Lab, we don't chase style. We chase the systematic reliability. If your service game feels like a coin flip, it's because the physics is working against you. Today, we're moving away from a low percentage flat serve and toward a serve that uses frictions to create the aerodynamic gravity. Stick with me till the end because I've designed a step-by-step drill you guys can use it today to install this high tolerance system. But let's talk about the reality of your match. You walk up to the line, visualize the perfect ace, and swing. But the data doesn't lie. In the match, your perfect serves only shows up about 30% of the time. 1 in 3. That's a 70% failure rate. You hit one perfect serve, feel a surge of hope, immediately followed up by a double fault using exact the same mechanical error. Does this sound like your typical service game? You're not choking. You're not mentally weak. You're simply operating a system that has a zero fault tolerance. When the pressure is on and your heart rate climbs up to 140 BPM, your fine motor skills or your feel of the ball disappears. If your technique requires 100% precision to stay within 2-inch window above the net, the math says you will fail under the pressure. It's a frustrating cycle. If you try to hit harder to fix your problem, the speed actually narrows your window even more. To get to that 80% rally initiation, we have to stop gambling on the perfect timing. But first, we have to look why your current serve trajectory is mathematically impossible. If you're ready to stop guessing and start using physics to master your game, hit that subscribe button and join us here in the lab. You're stuck in that 30% trap because you're forcing the linear trajectory onto a game defined by a curved space. Most coaches would tell you to hit down on the ball, like you're pounding a nail into the court. But the physics dictates a completely different requirement. Let's break down the schematic. You're hitting from point A, the baseline. Your target is 60 feet away. But here's the bottleneck, the net, which is about 3 feet high. If your contact is 8 feet, which is the standard extension for players in average height, hitting a perfectly straight line into the middle of the service box is mathematically impossible. Even with gravity and air resistance working to pull that ball down, it is still incredibly hard to make that straight serve into the court with consistency. Mathematically, the straight line trajectory the serve you're trying to hit would bounce 2.8 feet beyond the service line. To actually make a flat serve in without relying on luck, you need a contact height of at least 8.57 feet. So unless you're 6'10", you're attempting this risky flat serve. Now you might be thinking, I'll just swing harder and aim lower. You might succeed, but maybe once in 3 times. And that is a terrible return of investment. A harder flat serve doesn't fix the math. It just hits the net faster. The safe spin serves will solve this geometric crisis. We aren't aiming for the box, we're aiming for the curved trajectory. We're moving away from your straight line gamble and installing the curved solution. Now that we have identified the tolerance mismatch, we aren't going to fix it by trying harder or concentrating more. We don't need more effort, we need a new design. We're going to re-engineer the flight path. To solve the math of that 8 feet contact, we need vertical vectoring. In your old serve, you were trying to hit through the ball, forcing that straight line into that tiny box. In the new system, we stop hitting at the box and start hitting up and across the ball. We're trading horizontal force for vertical acceleration. When you brush the ball from bottom to top, you create this pressure differential. In physics, this is the Magnus effect. This isn't just a spin for the sake of style. The faster you swing up, the harder the physics pulls the ball down. Now this downward force is what transforms your keyhole target into a garage door. By adding this vertical vector, you can be off by several degrees in your timing, and the physics will still pull that ball down into the service box. And you can finally stop worrying about being perfect, because the air itself is now helping you to stay in. This is the return of investment shift. Instead of aiming 1 to 2 inches window above the net, you're now aiming few feet above the net, knowing that the faster you swing your racket vertically, the harder the physics going to pull down that ball. You're now using the gravity and the air as your teammate to ensure that the ball will drop down every single time. The math is clear, the physics is on your side. Now let's look at the mechanical steps to execute this upgrade and install the system into your game. To install this new vertical vector trajectory, we have to debug your current mechanics. We aren't here to talk about hitting the ball harder. Power without control is just a faster way to lose the point. We're here to address the 3 critical tolerance failures that are keeping your consistency in that 30% trap. First, the grip. You likely use the Pancake Grip because it feels more sturdy. Your brain thinks the more surface, the more control you'll have. But in the reality, this grip is what's killing your consistency. You literally cannot brush up the ball and create that downward dive of the ball. So instead of this grip, we're using a grip called Continental Grip. And I understand this grip feels weird because it feels like the racket's going to fly off your hand. But you need this grip to accelerate your racket upward and make sure that the ball is diving into the court. Second, we have a system conflict. Most players try to change the grip to the new ones by keeping their chest front on, pointing to their opponent. Here's the logic. When you're holding your racket with the Continental Grip, the face of the racket naturally points away from the target. If you stand front on, the brain realizes that the interface is broken. It can't see the strings hitting the ball. To compensate, your brain subconsciously forces you back into a pancake grip just to bring that racket square to the ball. This is why your consistency never improves. I know it feels counterintuitive to turn your back to your opponent, but by staying side on, you're building the runway for your racket to launch vertically. You aren't losing the target, you're only creating the pathway for the racket to move vertically so that the ball clears the height of the net and drops in. And finally, the waiter's try. You're simply slapping the back of the ball because you're afraid to miss. But again, the ball that's being pushed has no aerodynamic pull. Without the Magnus effect, the ball stays straight. A serve with a flat trajectory is the most dangerous shot because you have no control over where it lands. To be consistent, you must stop pushing and start brushing. Step 1, the Continental Grip. By changing your grip to the Continental Grip, you can now move your arm upward, create that Magnus effect on that ball. Step 2, fixing your stance. Your lead foot should point to the right net post. This is for the right-handed player. If you're a left-handed player, your lead foot, which is your right foot, should point to the left net post. By doing this, your chest is not pointing straight anymore. It's pointing to the side. You're in this side-on position, and you're building the runway for your racket. And step 3, the sandwich drill. This is where we program the brush into your muscle memory. Use the Continental Grip and be side-on to your opponent. Now I want you to sandwich the ball with your left hand and tennis racket. If you're a left-handed player, then sandwich the ball with your right hand and the racket. From right above the head, brush up and forward, rolling the ball from 7 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Do you feel that friction? This is the tactile calibration. You're teaching your muscles the difference between the impact and the friction. If you're not rolling the ball in this drill, you'll never have the consistency you want in the match. I need to give you a system warning before you head to the court. When you first apply these 3 points, the grip, the stance, and the swing path, your first few serves will not go in. This isn't a failure of technique, it's a calibration dip. You're overriding the brand new operating system. Your brain will tell you that it feels weird and it's not fixing a problem at all. It will try to revert to the pancake grip because it craves the stability of the old broken system. But here's the logic gate. There is no single professional on an ATP tour or even a top tier club player who uses the pancake grip, stand front on, and tap the ball when they're serving. If you want the consistency in your serve, you have to push through that mechanical noise of your learning phase. Trust the physics, ignore the feel for the first half an hour, and watch the trajectory transform. Consistency isn't a feeling, it's a mechanical setting. We aren't trying harder, we're upgrading the system's tolerance. In the next episode of this series, we're going to look at the pronation, one of the most important movements to help your serve become more consistent. Tennis isn't just about working harder, it's also about making physics work for you. Save this video and watch it before your next match, and make sure the vertical path is your default setting.